How's it going, YouTube? This is Samuel again with another video. Today, I'd like to talk about learning from your mistakes. I think that's one of the greatest topics to talk about because we all go through, we all do like make mistakes, do or make, I'm not sure. Yeah, you see, I'm making a mistake right now. Yeah, so we all make mistakes in life and we need to learn from them, right? And especially like when you're younger, in your 20s, or before we get to a certain age, we tend to make more mistakes. And even some of us grown up men and people over 30s and 40s, people in their 40s, are still keep making mistakes, and that's how life, we keep on learning. But learning from your mistakes is like one of the greatest ways for you to improve in life. Somebody said that the smart guy, something like this, like the smart guy learns from someone else. And although that's right, so from someone else's mistake or something like this, although that is right and correct, and you should learn from other people's mistakes as well, I think the best lesson in the world is you actually go through a certain difficulty or certain difficult. I think it's difficulty, right? Yeah, you go through a certain difficulty or difficult time in your life, and you feel the pain of what it's like to feel that. You feel the pain of what it's like to experience that thing that you're dealing with. I think that's the greatest way for you to learn, because every time you try to commit or make that mistake again, you're gonna remember the pain. Like, let's say there's a life has a bunch of routes, so you're here on the center, and then life gives you all these paths, so to the left, upwards, to the right, downwards, and you have all these paths and ways to go. And when you're young, you don't know what to do with your life. You don't know where to go. You don't know which path you should take or whatever. And maybe, let's say you chose the left path, for example, but the left path has a bunch of problems in there, and it's not gonna make you happy, and it's gonna make you suffer and whatever. And then you come back and you try to go to the right path, and then you actually realize that you like that thing, but you don't really like that much. And then you go back again, and then you try to go upwards, and then you realize that you learn something new about yourself. Maybe you learn a new passion, and you earn more money doing that certain thing, and then you choose that because you can support that for long enough to not give up or whatever. So it's always about learning. So even though when you don't get to where you want to get in life as you get older, just by you waking up and trying, and not just sitting down in your room and feeling sorry for yourself, just by you trying to do things, even though you make mistakes, that's already a good sign that you're learning. Because you're never going to learn if you don't expose yourself, if you don't put yourself out there, and you don't try something else. For example, English is not my native language. Okay, I don't feel like 100% confident when I say it, even though it sounds like I'm confident, but I'm not confident at all. I'm feeling very self-conscious, but I'm still here putting myself out there, and that's the only way that I learned it. Because I put myself out there, and even though I failed, and I still fail to this day, and I probably continue to fail forever. But it's all about learning and improving, right? So you have to put yourself out there. It doesn't matter if you fail or not. And chances are, if you're 20 something, if you're 30 years old, and let's say you haven't gotten to the point where you want to get yet, but at least, man, at least you started at a young age, and you always tried stuff, and you always pushed yourself hard, and you tried different paths, or you tried this certain path specifically, and you know exactly what to expect. At least you're learning. You're way better off than somebody who's just complaining on social media, and not doing anything about their life to change their situation. And as time passes, like they turn 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 35, and the next thing they know, they're 40 years old and they haven't tried anything. Some people, they just give up on themselves, and that's the worst thing you can do. So even though some of y'all are experiencing like setbacks and struggles, at least you're trying. And trust me, you learn way more from your errors and your mistakes than from your successes. I can guarantee you that, because you're always going to remember the pain of the wrong things that you did. You're always going to remember the pain. Like, I made so many mistakes in my life, y'all have no idea. Maybe one day I'll explain them all, but I made so many bad decisions in my life that really hurt me, financially and spiritually, and in every other area of my life. But I look back now, and I understand that this is all lessons. Like, these are all lessons for growth, and ultimately we're all trying to evolve. And if you can learn from a mistake and not to do that again, then you're on the right path, because you don't want to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, expecting that something with your life is going to change. All right. So what I want to say is, as long as you're making mistakes, but you're, growing and moving past these mistakes, and you're growing and evolving because of these mistakes, then you're on the right path. And as long as you're also taking care of yourself, you're educating yourself, you're studying hard, you're not just giving up on yourself. You're working, you're trying to save up money, you're trying to improve as a human being, then I think you're on the right path to becoming a better person. Because this channel right here is all about people trying to become better. Because I'm on my journey as well. I'm trying to become better. I have so many flaws, or so much flaws. I'm not sure, but I have so many or so much flaws inside of me that I can't even begin to count. I'm totally imperfect, so I need to change. I need to improve. Some days I feel like not doing anything. Some days I feel very unmotivated. Like, some days I just want to feel like throwing in the towel and not doing anything. Or, some of the days I make a certain schedule, and I have this certain deadline to finish a certain something, and I don't finish it. And that's fucking bad for me. I need to finish. I need to do what I set myself to do. For example, so I have many flaws, and we all have flaws. Okay, if you say you're perfect, then you're lying, because you could be 99% perfect, but there's always something that can improve. You can never get to the point where you're so good that you literally have no failures. Like, you're magical angel or something. Like, you're not, because you're still human. You still bleed. You still fail. And if you think that you're perfect, then that just shows you how much you still need to improve, because we all need to humble ourselves down to understand that we're never going to be 100% perfect at everything, and we all need to grow. So it comes down to this. So learning from your mistakes, guys. Learn from your mistakes. Improve as a human being. Study as hard as you can. Try to understand what you want from your life. Try to figure your life out. Don't wait on nobody else to figure your life, because at the end of the day, nobody feels what you feel. Nobody knows your limits. Nobody knows what's best for you, even though they can see it from an outer perspective, but not from an inner perspective, because you're the only one that is inside of yourself 24/7. So you know your limits, what are your flaws, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, what you want or you don't want, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, what makes you feel good about yourself, what makes you feel better about yourself, and so on and so forth. So you're the only one that knows exactly how to find the best out of yourself. And it's totally fine if you haven't really figured out your life yet. But as long as you're trying every day, I think you're in the right path. And we all have our different times. I have my own time. You have your own time. We have different journeys. Some of us, are trying to do completely different things. But again, if you're focusing on yourself and not focusing on anybody else, like, don't look at people's life on Instagram or stuff like that. I strongly think that you should only use social media to either A, make money, or B, learn something new, or C, you're gonna use that to kind of distract yourself a little bit, to laugh and kind of take care of the real world, like take away from the real world a little bit, but in a strategic way. Like, I don't want you spending 10 or, you do whatever you want off your life, but ideally, you don't want to be spending like 10, 15, 20 hours a day watching dogs on Instagram, or, wasting your time in there. So please use that. Be very careful with these things that you're doing. So if you're not making money, or learning something, please don't be spending 3 to 4 to 5 or 10 hours a day on Instagram or YouTube or stuff like that, because chances are you are stopping. You're literally stopping to improve, to give your time to someone else, and you're making their dream become a reality. I'm sorry. and whereas you should be doing the opposite. You should be making your dream become a reality. So try to get your attention back to yourself and into your life, and that's the only way that you're gonna save your own self, because no one else is gonna save you. I mean, unless you have someone else to pick you up when you fall, but that's not the case for most of us, and it's not my case as well. So I need to literally be looking after myself, or kind of taking care of my own self. And I think most of us, we need to need to pick ourselves back up again by ourselves, because no one else is gonna give us that hand and say, hey, let's go, let's get there together. Most of us, we're in this road alone, and we need to pick ourselves up again from scratch and then try again. And we don't have nobody patting on our back and saying, hey, let's go together. That's just the reality of life. So this is why you should be literally focusing on yourself as much as you can and try to improve as fast as possible. So that's what I believe. I could be wrong though, but it's just my opinion, okay? So I hope this video was insightful in some way if you're going through difficult times. And please don't be afraid of talking to me, or reach out whenever you can. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm pushing this YouTube channel so hard this year, and I really want to make something out of it. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but I'm here, and I hope it does. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye, guys. Take care of yourself. And yes, bye. I'll see you.